This is Women in Localization with a preview of our first live event. We are going to have a live event on March 31st at 9 a.m. Pacific time that is called Gender Bias in Artificial Intelligence. It is part of our celebrating Women's History Month under the Break the Bias hashtag. I am Alexandra Proka, and I am with Women in Localization marketing team. I am the program manager for social media. And I am here talking with Olga Blasko, who is our Women Localization marketing board member. Welcome, Olga.
Thank you. Hello, from Istanbul.
Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Olga Blasko. For those that don't know me, I've been in the industry for over 25 years and, been in different positions. But more recently, I'm, involved in different ventures such as Aglatech and Orbital 14, and also Lion People Global as principal partner for M&A. And in Women in Localization, I'm board member since January, but I'm also board member of ClearTech in Ireland, which is the technology hub of Clear Global, formerly Translators Without Borders. And I'm also a social entrepreneur in Turkey, so that's a lot. But I mean, to explain that I have been involved in women empowerment projects for quite a bit.
And we're so happy you're also a new board member, and we're so happy to have you. Thank you so much for leading us. And let's talk a little about what's going to happen on March 31st. As we said, the topic is gender bias in artificial intelligence. And we discussed, when we set up the event, we discussed what topic we were going to cover. When we thought about several, why did we decide to choose this particular one?
So when I was looking for the theme, for this year, because every year, for International Women's Day and Women's History Month, I mean, there is a theme. When I saw Break the Bias, it really brought me back to February 2020, where I was in a panel in Women in Localization Catalonia in Barcelona, together with Gloria Lorenzo, who is also invited to this gender bias in AI panel that we're gonna have. And it brought me back there because we discussed this very topic right there and then, and this was just before the pandemic. The last live event I attended before the pandemic, and the topic there was AI and the role of women. And we had a lot of discussion, I mean, also with the other panelists, Tauba Gish from Pactera, about, the role of women in AI. And, my angle had been, I mean, women are, in this, new AI world, I mean, able to bring so much because, I mean, women have high scores and highly valued skills in many industries. Women are nurturers and community builders, and women know how to use the power of networks. I mean, Women in Localization is a prime example of that. But women still, go through discrimination by the way that, healthcare is set up in many countries in the world. They face mobility challenges, they face education challenges, and we all have experienced the work-life balance challenges. And finally, the gender bias challenge, even outside of AI. So at that time, Gloria spoke about, gender bias in AI because she has been actively involved in several initiatives. So again, when I saw the Break the Bias topic, it brought me back to that event and the discussions that we had. And then I thought, you know, Break the bias is present still. It's a societal, bias, that women experience. Gender bias is not the only bias that can be present. I mean, as you know, I mean, there's gender bias, there's other types of biases. But in the case of women, if we are experiencing already this bias in society, and this bias is introduced in how the data is obtained, how algorithms are designed, and how the outputs are interpreted, bias can get hard coded in algorithms, and we can perpetuate, biases in, how machines learn. So because AI is part of our future, I think that it's important that we pay attention at this. Right now, I think it's quite timely, to be talking about this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am happy that we explained that at large. There are going to be, of course, more in-depth conversation on March 31st. And you actually covered a lot of other questions that I have, like why is this important topic right now? And in what way we're talking about this. You mentioned about the technology and all that, and we're going to have three guests that are all women leaders in technology. They're very knowledgeable in all this area. Can you tell us a little bit more about our three guests?
Sure. I know Gloria, since that event. I knew of her, but at that event, we had the opportunity to spend, half a day, together where we discussed, a lot of people we know in common. And, she's been in Oracle for many years, but I had no idea that she had been involved in all these initiatives. And I had no idea that she was also a venture capitalist. So she's been involved in technology for a very long time, managing very large development teams. And also like her knowledge in the topic really, really impressed me. Olga Beregovaya, I have known her as well for a very, very, very long time. For those of you who know a little bit the story of WeLocalize, we were in WeLocalize together for a few years, where she joined in order to lead all the language technology area in the company, and that has evolved now into AI innovation. She's vice president of AI innovation at WeLocalize, and I remember I asked her about gender bias in AI at a live event that Women in Localization organized towards the end of last year. I can't remember exactly where. I did ask her about this topic, and and she said, yeah, let's talk about it a little bit more. So when I thought of her for this event, I said, well, this is where you get the chance to tell us a little bit more, about what you're doing. And Lisa Palmer, she's CTA at Splunk. And of course, as a technology advisor, she has, accumulated a lot of knowledge in her professional life, but also, she's a mentor for women in tech. And she is an advocate for the ethical use of technology. So basically, the technology has to be used fairly. And if there is any issues, that the application of technology brings, they need to be dealt with in an ethical way. So because of that background, we thought that it was a good opportunity to bring somebody who's actually pursuing this even academically, at the doctorate level. So I thought that the combination of these three experts would make a very, very, very interesting panel.
Yeah, thank you for introducing it. What an amazing panel. I'm afraid an hour will not be enough with so many people contributing so much. You mentioned a CTA for Lisa Palmer. I'd say CTA is Chief Transformation Advisor, right?
Chief Technical Advisor, I think.
Technical, okay.
Don't quote me on that, but I think it's...
I think I looked at this Chief Transformation, and that's what caught my eye, because it's something like, technology transformation. And then... Gloria Lorenzo is helping young people transfer society with technology. So that's a very interesting and a lot of knowledge to be brought there. And Olga Beregovaya is artificial intelligence innovation. She's in charge with that at WeLocalize. And you are also involved in so many technology, artificial intelligence. So this is going to be a fabulous panel. Thank you so much for taking the time to introduce the topic, to do this preview, and I hope we're going to have a good audience. And please bring your questions. And again, the event is going to be on March 31st, concluding Women's History Month.
Great. Looking forward to that.
Yep, all of us are, and I'm too. Thank you so much. Okay,
Thank
bye-bye,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.